G'day guys, welcome back. Too many projects, not enough time. I'm Andrew, in the shop here again today, working on Ivy again. Some of the work is going to slow down just a little with summer around the corner and spring in full kick here with more of the outdoor projects and some renovations that we're doing around here. In the last video I showed the retaining wall we're doing in the backyard, and we're also putting a hot tub in with a shelter as well, so more construction. And another little project as my son is learning to drive. Another project there as well related to that. Say no more. Hi Griffin, I know you're watching. It's okay buddy. We all have little accidents here and there. So anyway, so what we're going to do today, we finally got the gear sets in from Ashcroft for the high-speed gear ratios in this transfer case. Finally came in over a year of waiting, and they sent the wrong ones, but finally have the correct ones. So anyway, we're going to pull this series box off, and it's more than strong enough to handle that V8. And because we've got so much power, instead of doing an overdrive, we're just doing a high-speed gear ratio, because we've got tons of power to push this thing down the road. So we're not going to be lagging there at all. And less moving parts and less bits than an overdrive. So we'll give it a go. So we're going to pull this apart, and then we're going to send the casing off and any dirty bits off to first mechanic across the street here. And he has a big parts washer, so it'll all get washed up and pretty air looking out of the parts washer. And then we'll send the casing over to another friend, machinist, who I will give him all the instructions and everything to do the machining that's required for this gear set in this box. And then after that we will do some assembly. Now I'm going to get a Land Rover friend of mine to work along with me and reassemble all this. Not sure he's going to want to be on video, so anyway, we'll see how we do. And we'll get this all reconditioned, put back together, and get it ready. Now I know I wanted to put the engine back in the truck in the last video, 2 videos ago, which I was all ready to do, but then the gear sets arrived, so we might as well get them done here in the transfer case and get that done. And the throwout bearing is also a week or 2 out, so I might as well wait for that as well. And then once this is done, we've got the throwout bearing, then we'll just put it all in, and hopefully for good. And then we'll get the exhaust back from ceramic coating, and then we can start bolting stuff on for good, and move on to the rear diff and suspension and get all that looking pretty. Anyway, without further ado, let's pull this apart a little further, and so I can take it off and get it cleaned, and then off to the machinist to get the larger bushing holes machined into this as per the specs from Ashcroft for this gear set. Let's go. Oh, remember to like and subscribe. Everyone says it every video. Appreciate you watching, and to get notices and updates, remember to subscribe and hit that bell notification. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Let's go. Alright, first we're going to start by undoing this lump up here. We do have the finest of Whitworth wrenches and spanners. You're going to keep everything in its boxes so we don't get confused. Wiggle that loose. So anyway, my original love for Land Rovers started back in about 95, I guess? No, 95, wait. Anyway, late 90s. I traded in a limited edition Gen 3, I think it was, RX-7 I had in Australia for a two-door Range Rover, which I loved that truck, and drove that for many years while I was in the Australian Navy, which is how I met my wife, and did many things to that. We, besides maintaining it, it had obviously slightly bigger tires and lifted a little bit, a couple inches, nothing dramatic. And at one point the old 3.5 had a catastrophic failure which split the block in two. So we put it on a tow truck and sent it out to John Davis in Sydney. Well, at least the Aussie Land Rover folks will have heard of John Davis. He did the Bush Ranger, Range Rover / Discovery conversions with that fiberglass kit, amongst other things. And he did a high output 4.2 litre into my, it was an 82 two-door Range Rover. And drove that for many years until I left to come to Canada. And I sold it to a friend of mine, good friend of mine. And hello if you're watching. And anyway, he drove it for a bunch of years and then parked it for a lot of years. And then unfortunately, a couple of years ago, sent it off to the wreckers. Bugger. So I wish I was had a heads up and in the position I am now to be able to have bought it, or at least if he was sending it to the wreckers, got it back from him and shipped it over here to Canada, because two-doors here in Canada and some areas of the world are now highly sought after and expensive, including apparently Australia too. But anyway, it is gone, so which is a shame because I really love my two-door Range Rover. I'd love to get another one, but they are kind of pretty rare these days and quite pricey, and I have enough projects on the go as it is without any more. You can't have everything unless I win lotto, which isn't going to happen, but you never know. Anyway, so then when I got here to Canada, so my two-door Range Rover is what got me into Land Rovers. Then I got here to Canada, and then I got an 80-inch Land Rover, which you guys haven't seen yet, but I do have an 80-inch 1952, which is out behind that wall of the shop. Now it is 98% complete, but just another project sitting on the fence waiting to be done. I really want to do that one, well, just like this one, I guess. I really want to do them properly and not just throw it back together. Though when I say properly, I mean I'm not going to do a full restoration on it. I just want to get it properly mechanically back sound and running, but leave the patina and everything on it. Just get it mechanically back as good as we can get it. And so I do have that as a future project, and I've had that 80-inch now for probably coming up 20 years. And someone here swapped me a pile of yellow cedar that I had here in British Columbia for the 80-inch. And I was at the time going to hopefully just do a quick mechanical job on it and get it running and have it as my backup car for when I broke down. And my, what was it, 91 Range Rover at the time. Whenever it broke down, I'd have a backup car to get to work. But I got a little ways with it, but not far enough, and since then it's just sat. So, but it is on the list for sure, because it is a Land Rover. Now I really don't have a clue how this comes apart, except for literally undoing nuts and bolts, trying to get it apart. So once I get these undone, I'll give it a wiggle, and I will probably need to get something up here undone, I guess, unless the shaft just pulls out the front as a complete unit. But we'll find out. Some of you, I'm sure, have done this many times. I have not. But for those who have not and have no clue, like me, exactly how this comes apart and goes back together, then we will learn together. Boop, boop, boop. So yeah, so 80 inch, and then we got a 93 Range Rover. Sorry, we got a 91 Range Rover, had a 91 as well. And we drove it for many years, and the rust got too much for it, and there was a bunch of them around, which now there isn't. But anyway, my father said when I was growing up, if he'd managed to keep all the vehicles he had when he was younger and store them somewhere, he'd be a millionaire. Because all the things he drove when he was young, E-Type Jags and the MGs and stuff, and in fact he even swapped, although these days it would be a good been a good car to hang on to, but back in the day he swapped an MGB for a new or almost new HQ Holden in Australia, and then was kicking himself because the Holden's HQs, which I had a HQ in Australia as well, different one, but I had a HQ too, and so anyway, the MGs were worth a good chunk of money and the HQs were worth nothing, which is part of the reason why I had a HQ Holden in Australia, 4-door. But these days in Australia, the HQ Holdens are now worth an absolute mint. Because they're rare in Australia too, and the HQ Holdens in Australia are, or any of the Kingswoods in Australia, Monaros, all that sort of era, are Australia's muscle car, part of Australia's muscle car. Obviously there's Ford in there as well. But because they're rare now, and there was a racing class of HQs, which was a 6-cylinder class, straight 6, 202, in Australia, and so I guess a lot of them got beat up and used up in that racing class because it was meant to be a cheap, fun class that a lot of people could afford. But so, I don't even know if that class exists anymore because HQs are worth an absolute ridiculous amount of money. Same as the HZs and most of that era, 70s, 80s era of Kingswoods. And even some of the Commodores now are starting to gain value. Okay. Is that going to come apart, or are we going to do a bunch more stuff? I'm thinking we probably have to do a bunch more, but I have no clue. If any of you know the next step to getting this apart, just scream at your screen for me, would you? And that'll give me an idea of what the next step is as we fumble around here. Boop. And try and figure that out. Whew. Look at that slump. I'm thinking that's just not going to come nicely. What do you people think? Think it's going to come nicely or not? Or I'm missing a whole bunch of steps. Alright. Let's get this little cover off right here. Ooh. That one's been modified. Oh, this side's been modified too. all the big chunks will get cleaned across the street here, and then all the little nuts and bolts and stuff. I have an ultrasonic cleaner now, so I will get all the little nuts and bolts and stuff if I remember where all these came from, but we will figure it out at the end. We'll get all new gaskets at the end. Someone's screaming at the camera going, "You can't get that gasket anymore, reuse it." I can always make one, if need be. This looks to be corked to me. Alright, put that in there, I'll go for cleaning. Nothing looking like it sticks on the back here. Anyway, we'll get as far down this road as we can before you get bored and fast forward and go somewhere else. Ugh. Yeah, no clue what that does. Oh, you got some garbage. I'm thinking this has got to come off here. So let me get my needle nose pliers. Is it just me, or does it seem like these old trucks, the nuts and bolts come apart far easier most of the time than modern stuff for some reason? Do we have a wrench that big? What do we got in here? Oop, almost. Almost. Nope, nothing quite big enough. So, I know, crescent wrenches. Don't use crescent wrenches. Anyway, see if we can. Let me stop that from spinning. Need 3 hands here. Holy cow. That is so sloppy. Let's give that a wallop. We get it? Yep. Alright, folks. How do we hold that tight? Close. Nope. Let's see how we do on the metric scale here. Nope, we got any bigger one than that. Well, not perfect, but still better. Make a plan here. Make a plan, Stan. Alright, one clip in there. Oh, there. And that. We'll tack it like that. Alright guys, let's see what we break doing that. There's a left-hand thread. That felt promising. That's promising. Alright, there we go. Fabricable, people. Fabricable. See? What is it about this old machinery that just doesn't seem to rust up and bind up like this new stuff does? Alright. Haha. Perfect. Hopefully we'll remember how all this goes back together. Now it's not going to be that easy, is it, peeps? Hey. Let's see what's happening here. That is not going to get past there unless I undo that in there. Very gently. Don't want to round off heads of bolts. Should loosen that. So if you really want a detailed description on this, we loosen the Joey Scrinson so we can slide the thingamabob out. Aha! So what we're going to have to do, I think, is undo that. Do the leggy so that can slide out of there. Maybe get this off here. You still on camera? Nope. Alright. Alright guys, so I'm up here now. Sorry if you did anything else up here that you didn't see before. Let's see. Let me figure out where all these go. I know where it's going back together. There's a ton of these bits laying around, so we can always double check on one of them to make sure we got everything in the right place. All right, there, washer. That one. Like I always say, if first you don't succeed, get a bigger hammer. If you don't know how hard something is, or how impossible something is, then achieving it is no problem at all. Someone is screaming at me what size that is. Put it in the comments below. What size Whitworth is that nut? I already tried that one, nope. Too close. Oh, there we go. Then my bobby. Clean the muck off it. A little washer goes on there. See, part of this video thing is so I can come back and watch this video when we're trying to put it all back together and figure out how it all goes together. Seems to be catching on something. Is there something else I'm missing here? Yep. Anyway, let's try and get this off. That doesn't seem too good. So we have some sockets here. Put a socket on there. Oop. A little collection of Whitworth sockets. I knew these would come in handy one day. And I know someone watching here is like, you bought them off in front of me. Anyway, whatever. You're here if anyone ever wants to borrow them. Perfect. And that fits into there. And with the safety hammer, bugger. So, made in the USA. And we got 2 cracks. So, that bites. That socket will not work. Crumbs. I wonder if I can... Oh, there's many cracks in that. Yeah, this thing is toast. Toast! Alright, let's look for a metric alternative. Alright, play the guessing game. Oh, sloppy. There we go. There we go. Alright. Slide that off there. No reference point on that, just we'll put the nut on at the end. Why doesn't that lift off there? And something going on here. Alright folks, what is stopping that? There we go. Lovely jubbly. Let's put that in there. Alright. How far can we wiggle this off now? Woohoo! Oh, whack over the diddly there. Alright. We kind of need a second box here. Ah, be good. All the somewhat clean gears in there. And then this one here is gonna, I think, should come out. Looks like it has moved a little. That goes inside of there. That goes there. I think we just gotta wiggle that out of the fork there. Oh! Alright, I think I got it here. Where did the wrench go for that? Oops. There we go. Put that in there. And I think this bolt's got to come out of the fork. Because I bet there's a slot, or a groove, in that shaft, locating it when you do it all up. Alright, we're almost there, guys. Thanks for coming along. You're watching this because you got to do this too, and it scares the hell out of you pulling it apart. Pulling it apart's nothing. It's putting it back together to make it work properly. That's the concern. Actually, well, I think we got the. Gotta figure out all that slop was happening. Which I think. Yeah. Slop is built into it. But other than that, this looks like it's barely ever been. This transfer case looks like it's barely done any miles. In the future here, I'll grab the dash that came out of this, and we'll take a look at the mileage on this 1957. 88. Because I bet it hasn't even been around the clock. Yeah, and I bet this bolt, there's a groove in the shaft to stop that being pulled out and to locate it. Come on. This is where it doesn't. There we go. There we go. That's what it was. Alright, so I'll pull that out now. Uh-oh. Oh, that's that pin from here. Oh, cool. Locator pin. I guess as you slot into a gear, it locates on the shaft. There's a little groove in there. That little groove there is where the bolt went through to locate that. Cool. Hopefully someone remembers how it goes back together. Any volunteers? Any volunteers out there? Ew. That's ugly. So we got the thread all mashed up on that bolt. And someone, actually the thread in here looks good. The thread on the bolt looks mashed. So no wonder it was a little stiff to come out. We'll just put that temporarily in there. Put that in there. We'll sort that out later on. We'll figure out Take this out because that's got a pin in there. Alright, we've got to put that back onto something. Here it is. Try and put back what we can so it's in place when we need it later on. Alright. So we take this little bronze plug out, or brass plug out. And you get a spring, and a little ball pin thing. Alright. That go in from the bottom or the top? I guess we should have pulled that out first. That's why this is a learning experience, first of all. Oop, there we go. Okay. Yeah, that looks like it's been mashed a little bit, and it's someone was mashing gears. Alright, putting that there. Cap went in there as well. Alright, now to get this bit out. Okay, dokie. Just out of curiosity. Didn't think so. Alright. Alright, we're back down here again. There we go, guys. Take the circlip out. Oops. Alright guys, it's been a week or two since I filmed the first part of this video. We're back in the shop. We're going to get these out to the machinist to have them machined for the high ratio gear set. So we've got two transfer cases going out to have this done. Mine and another gentleman's. All we've got left now to do is remove the locating pins on both sides of both of the transfer case boxes. And I've already removed all the studs from both sides because we'll be able to get this flat on the deck at the machinist shop. So next we basically just got to heat this up from the underside, and anyway, heat up from the undersides. You guys watching probably know what I'm talking about, the locating pins in here. Heat it up till the aluminum expands until we can give the pins a little wriggle and pop them out. So let's focus in here and see how long this takes to wriggle the next one out. I already got one out, and I thought I'd video this as well, and then that'll be the end of the video once I get this out, and let's get it done. Alright guys, there we have it. We got the pins out of both transfer case boxes here. So it's time to drop them off at the machine shop. And in a later video we'll rejoin this epic saga for the reassembly. Now I'm not sure if we'll be able to do the reassembly all on video or not. I'm not sure if my friend who's helping wants to be on video or whatnot, but we'll see. So thanks for coming along. Remember to like and subscribe, the usual stuff. Really appreciate it when you chime in as well. And we'll see you on the next video. Stay safe.